young Mila wanted to be like a doctor. Like, I mean, I am a doctor technically, but like MD. At first, it was like pediatrician, and then as I got a little older, it was like I always wanted to do something in healthcare. But what I wanted to do in healthcare kind of changed as I grew up and stuff. And at one point in high school and even a little bit of undergrad, I was like wanting to do nursing. So, the vibe changed a lot while I was, growing into myself. But I think I am in a really fulfilling role for Jamila, and it really, it's good. It's really good.
Like, that's good. Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Armand back again with another episode of Big Boss Talk, the podcast. Listen, we got another one, another top tier guest. You know what I'm saying? Like, can't really, only expect nothing but greatness from this individual. First time meeting this individual was actually in Houston. Like, I heard of a name, but then just being able to connect, sit down, meet, hang out. Super dope person. She alright in spades. I ain't gonna, she okay. But again, just super dope and just doing a lot of amazing, great things. And I really I'm glad she was able to just get down with me and say yes to hopping on the podcast and really just talking about, what she does and how she got into everything that she does. So let me tell y'all who I got. So I got Jamila Wilson, age 28. Her career / job is she's a neurologic physical therapist that works on brain injury and stroke rehab team. So that's pretty deep. Yeah. College degree, she has a BS in exercise science from USC, Doctor of Physical Therapy from Elon University. Years in her profession, she has 2.5 years. So she's new, very new, but 2.5 years in a profession like this, I'm pretty sure you can learn so much in just a year's time. So she's well decorated and understands what she's doing. So Mila, man, say what's up to the podcast.
What's up, y'all? Thanks, Armand, for having me on today. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. We're going to do something, get into it, but it won't be Big Boss Talk, the podcast, if we don't do 2 truths and a lie. So let's hit those 3 statements you got.
All right. First, let me go back for a second because I want to clear the air about this spades thing real quick because I'm better than all right. I feel like because you got beat. But it's okay. Yeah, I know this your show, so I'm gonna let you live a little bit.
Oh my God.
If we running back for that rematch, just let me know.
You let me know because that second time we came in when we had Velvet Taco, y'all was hurt.
Yeah, that was a different situation though. All right, I'm gonna stay on task. So my 2 truths and a lie. So I'm bilingual. I've eaten snail before, and I'm from South Carolina.
Whoa, but well, I know that. So the last one, gotta be true. South Carolina. She got an 86, area code. Yeah. South Carolina. But bilingual, and you said you ate snail?
Mm-hmm.
Like the snail. That's disgusting. Bilingual though? Ah, man. I don't know. Now I don't know that you got me stumped. Bilingual and then the snail, like, why would you eat a snail? I'm trying to think, like, what situation would you be in where you would have to eat a snail? But you know what? Nah, you bilingual. You ain't that snail. That's a lie.
That's a truth.
No! What?
Yeah, so I wouldn't do this on a normal like day or anything like that. But I was in Italy for a couple of months, and in Europe, like escargot or snail is like a delicacy or whatever. Okay. So, I'm at this restaurant, fine dining or whatever, and they brought the snails out, and I was like, I'm not gonna eat this shit. Like, I'm not eating it. But I ate it, and it was like the texture and consistency of like oysters or mussels or whatever. But yeah, after you get over the fact that it's a snail, like it tastes like one of them things, oysters or mussels or whatever. So no, I would never do it again, but I have eaten a snail before.
So what's the lie?
I'm bilingual. I'm not.
I don't know why I thought you was bilingual. Like maybe you knew a little bit of Spanish or something. In there.
I mean, I know a little bit, but does that qualify me as I'm not fluent? So
yeah, you don't qualify.
Yeah.
Okay, and then obviously you from South Carolina. What part of South Carolina you
from? I'm from Anderson, South Carolina, the 864.
Ain't nothing there.
Let's go.
Ain't nothing in Anderson.
Hey, ain't nothing in Rock Hill, but the school.
Well, we got Winthrop.
We got actually Clemson is in Clemson, yeah, but I mean, yeah. We got Anderson University.
Cut it out. Now I lived in Greenville for probably about 6 years, so I'm accustomed to Anderson. Just driving through, and like you got to drive through Anderson to get to Clemson anyway. So like we used to go on the weekend and try to hang out and party at Clemson. So you had to cut through Anderson, just a little quick drive. But you know, I like Anderson is cool. It's very, you know, just like pretty much a lot of South Carolina, just very country, you know, rural. So it's all good though. But yeah. That's what's up. I'm not trying to snail. I don't think I would do that.
Do you eat oysters though?
I don't eat oysters. I've had them before, but I don't really like oysters. I'm weird like that. Like I like simple stuff. Like don't give me meat with bone in it. I like boneless meat. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Like that's just me. But appreciate that. Two truths and a lie. You got me. I lost. I'm gonna hold my L. You know, it's all good. But we're gonna hop straight into it. So tell me, I see you doing, you know, amazing things, but you know, are you doing what you thought you would be doing as a young Mila? Like, what did young Mila want to be growing up?
Young Mila wanted to be like a doctor. Like, I mean, I am a doctor technically, but like MD. At first it was like pediatrician. And then as I got a little older, it was like, I always wanted to do something in healthcare. But what I wanted to do in healthcare kind of changed as I grew up and stuff. And at one point in high school and even a little bit of undergrad, I was like wanting to do nursing. So, you know, the vibe changed a lot while I was, you know, growing into myself. But I think I'm in a really fulfilling role for Jamila, and it really, it's good. It's really good. Like,
that's good. I mean, it looks like you stay in the healthcare world. You just kind of changed the concentration, you know, what you wanted to do. And so like, what made you change the concentration? Was it like certain classes? Was it just like you actually getting into it and or hearing advice from other people? It's just like, nah, this may not look like it's for me. Like, why did you, you know, kind of bounce around as far as like being a doctor, a nurse, and then now being in neurology, I would say?
So good question. For medical school, I was like, I don't know if I want to be in school this long. Have to do this like residency and fellowship. And then I look at it now, like I kind of basically did the same thing anyway, but that's another story. So I actually had physical therapy myself my senior year of high school for a knee injury. And I don't know, they just looked like they had so much fun and like work was like a vibe. So I was like, let me see what this is about. So I started like shadowing and stuff. And then nursing like kind of went out of the window when I was in undergrad, because like I had some friends who were starting to like nursing like for their major.
Yeah.
And even though we were in some of the same classes, like I kind of, in a sense, like, I don't want to say took the easy route out, because I still feel like what I did was challenging, but I was like, I'm not trying to compete for upper division and like do all of this, do all of that, like miss me. So I went into exercise science and it was tough. Like I had to take a couple anatomy classes like twice, like, you know, it was challenging, but I think I don't know. I had to find out like what my groove was. And then I ended up still having to go to 7 years of school to become a physical therapist. So
that's wild.
Could I have probably gone to medical school and done great things? Maybe, but
it is
everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, everything does happen for a reason. Like I'm a true believer in that. Like just the way you go through life, your ups, your downs, your decisions that you make, the changes you make. Like everything. Like I guess you could say if I look at myself, it's like the beginning I wanted to be an electrical engineer. You know what I'm saying? Like, but being an electrical engineer just you have to the school that I went to, you had to take trigonometry 1 and 2 within the same semester. I was playing football at the time, and I was like, that's not gonna happen. So I had to, it forced me to kind of be like, all right, what do I want to do that's gonna allow me to, play football, not be, focused, but not be too overwhelmed in the classroom to be able to, do my work. Because I know the type of person I am. I like to. I don't like the easy route, but I also don't want to be stressing myself out either to try to get through school and pass. And I ain't trying to be here no longer than I need to be because I'm in the woods, the sticks. I can't do it. So, but yeah, engineering ended up changing. Did mass communications. I was like, what do I like to do? I like to talk. I always sold stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I always been kind of like just hustling on my own. So I'm like, mass communication seems like it'll work. Fit for me, talking. And then, doing mass communications, doing sales, being commission based. It just all set me up for what I like to do now, like talking to people, having a podcast, you know what I'm saying? Even in my 9-to-5 job, like just being able to, talk to CEOs and be able to conduct myself in rooms where, I feel like I belong. So same thing for you, just going through the different, like it's just going through the different things to try to figure out what you really want to be. Because I've heard some very horror stories about medical students at USC trying to pass to get into these programs multiple times. Like it's stressful, the amount of stress y'all put on yourself and the knowledge. And I guess I want to ask, all the studying that you've done in schooling, do you use it? Like, is it prominent in your day-to-day, or is it kind of like,
So I would say more of the, like, not a lot of stuff from undergrad, honestly, except for anatomy and physiology.
Yeah.
And like basic, like biology, understanding. In physical therapy school, they do a good job of like teaching you how to be a generalist. Okay. So you learn you learn a little bit about a lot of things.
Okay.
Some of those things I don't really use every day just because the type of patients that I do work with. So as you mentioned, I work with patients who have brain injuries and strokes. So a lot of things that maybe like that I learned in sports and like orthopedic related, I don't use a great deal except for especially in this population. But some things like motor learning or teaching them how to like recover walking functions, some stuff like that, like bigger picture items. That's kind of like what I do on a regular basis. And then in physical therapy, like I said, they make you a generalist when you come out of school. But we do offer, or the profession offers, like specialties, which is what I decided to do. So I did an extra year residency after I graduated from PT school to learn about neurologic PT, like specifically like those diagnoses. And then I took a test in March to get certified in that. Still waiting on the results, but praying for a pass.
They haven't gave you results yet?
No, it's supposed to be coming in the next few weeks, so we'll see what happens.
You got it.
Fingers crossed, prayers up.
You got it.
And I think that the things that I learned in my residency and the specialty practice that I do, I actually use every day. So
yeah,
it kind of depends.
That makes sense. I just feel like when I hear like all the school that we go through, like those little beginning classes, we need to cut that out. Like let's get straight to the basics. Because you could go to school and probably take like your residencies, your classes that really focus in on your major residency. You could probably finish, you did 7 years. You could probably cut that down to 4 to 5. For like a normal and still be able to have like a prominent, base knowledge, going into like your doctorate or even going into like your career field. Like that's why a lot of people say like the school system is kind of like a scam, almost like this.
I feel like they're just trying to get all the money out of us and have us take this unnecessary stuff and like,
And I went to a Christian school. I had to go to chapel every every like Friday. Like that was required. Like I couldn't graduate without any chapel passing chapel courses. So
Wow.
like it's crazy because I could have took a whole different class. Like why I'm in chapel every Friday, but it is what it is. So tell me, obviously we figured out what little Mila wanted to be, getting to where we're at now. But along that process, obviously we had to, you know, go through, high school and then we go to college. Tell me a little bit about, your decision in going to USC. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, I have talked to a lot of people that went to HBCUs and they, down hard, like HBCU all the way. Like, the culture was, built in me. Like, my family went to HBCU. Like, I watched Drumline and thought that being in the HBCU would be dope. Like, how'd you get to USC? How you become a Gamecock? And you know what I'm saying? Like, why you choose USC?
Yeah, so I'm from South Carolina. So the big schools that I knew about growing up were Clemson, USC, College of Charleston. Both of my parents actually went to Clemson. And I wasn't really exposed to HBCUs a lot growing up. Like my uncle went to A&T, but he didn't really, talk about it much. And then I just, I didn't really get exposed to it. Now, had I been exposed to it, I probably definitely would have went to HBCU. In fact, I even thought about going to FAMU for PT school because they have a good PT program.
Yep.
But the only reason I didn't apply, and I should have applied anyway, there was one prerequisite course that I didn't have, and I was like, I'm not gonna go back to nobody else's school just to apply to FAMU. Like, I'm sorry, but I can't do it. So that's the only reason I didn't apply. And I sometimes like hit myself a little bit like, dang, maybe you should have just, put a filler out there. But anyway, I didn't want to be so close to home. My parents went to Clemson. Like, they go to all the football games. Like, I was just like, y'all gonna be trying to ruin my life. And I got to get away from y'all. So South Carolina was, I got accepted to Clemson and South Carolina, okay, and then North Carolina State. But I was like, let me stay in state and just like, be a little bit more financially reasonable.
Right.
So that's why I chose USC. And it was honestly the greatest decision ever. Like I had a great time. Like I met some really dope people.
Yeah.
And I think being away from home like helped me grow, up a little bit. So
that always helped. Like just being away. Yeah. Like you like I feel like from Anderson to, especially with being like in Anderson, that's like what, maybe like an hour and a half?
Hour and a half, 2.
Yeah, like I was gonna say hour and a half, 2. So like it's far enough where mom and dad ain't pulling up on you like that. But then it's also close enough where like if you need to get home, you know what I'm saying, you trying to chill, wash your clothes at the crib or get like a good meal, you can always drop in for the weekend, head back up on a Sunday or Monday morning before class. Like, right. I mean, it was,
and I had it real good because my grandma lived like 45 minutes away, so I was always at my grandma's house. Like,
see, you was I guess on college, but you had a home close by. Like that's good. Yeah. That's a good feeling to have because I going to Greenville. I was 2 hours away, but it was good to be able to go back and forth from home. Like when people was going home for holidays, it wasn't a strain on like my mom to get me. You know what I'm saying? Before I was driving to school, it wasn't a strain for her to come pick me up and then drive back. A lot of times when you go out of state, you got to worry about flights. You got to worry about, bags. Like, it just comes with a whole lot of extra stuff.
Right.
Tell me, what, I want to know what was some of the, like, top 2 moments of, like, your college days. Like, just something that lives in your head rent-free. Like, you'll go back and do it if you could anytime.
Oh, okay. I think one experience would definitely have to be, I want to say it had to either be my freshman or sophomore year, and it's running together, but we played Georgia at Williams-Brice, and we won. Ooh. And it was crazy. Like, the stadium, the tailgates, the after parties, like everything, that whole weekend was just lit. Like,
I know it.
That was like probably top 2. And then you might chuckle, but becoming a member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority, like I would Chi chapter at USC, like my probate, I would probably like top 2 experiences in undergrad. That was a fun time. It was looking back on it, I was like, wow, we really did that. But it was
it's just something you'll never forget.
Yeah.
Something you'll never forget. Okay, that's what's up. So we got one. Man, USC had some great games. When USC was good, and you used to go on the weekend and they would win, like 5 points was crazy. The Vista was crazy. Like, it's undeniable. And then y'all always try to throw little apartment parties, and then they get shut down. Like,
them Copper Beach parties, also like top 3 experiences from undergrad.
throwing parties, and then within an hour and a half, it gets shut down. You know, everybody like, dang, what we doing next? Man, I don't know. You have to find a way, do something. But that's what's up. And then obviously, you know, pledging, that's a dope experience. I always enjoyed going to probates. I think like that's a top tier thing. Like for me, that's something that I always wanted to do, is just like check out a probate and just be able to look and see, because the energy, the vibes, it's there, and you also be excited for the people that, you know, pledge and be able to be a part of those sororities and fraternities. And I'm like, man, that's super dope, because that you can never take that from somebody. You know, that you'll be that forever. You know what I'm saying? And that's a dope experience. So cool. So we got college. What would be some advice that you would give to, you know, some, you know, kids, you know, if they're going into, you know, they're going to college, right? They want to take, you know, they want to go to a college. What's some advice that you would give them on how they should choose which college they should go to? Because a lot of times people just go to because like they know what's around. So like USC was always around, Clemson, South Carolina State. I knew about South Carolina State pretty big, in Claflin. So those were the 4 schools that I knew about. But North Greenville University, I had no idea what the heck that was, where it was at, none of that. So it's just like, give us some tips, or give, you know, people some tips on what would be the best way to figure out what college you want to go to.
Yeah, so I think that process can be pretty daunting in and of itself. I think if, you know, like for me, like I said, I kind of chose USC for the fact that it was a little farther away from home. It was in state, so like my tuition was cheap. I knew my grandma was nearby. So those are kind of the things that you just mentioned, like, you know, what's surrounding stuff. I would challenge young people to kind of consider like, to look at really like what the major is in like the school. So like Darla Moore School of Business has a really great reputation, like, you know, the School of Public Health. So like look at the schools that your intended major is in, and kind of like see the reputation, or like what they're doing in the community, or, you know, how credible it will look in the future. But also to like, you know, if finances is a thing for you, look at, you know, the tuition or the types of scholarships that you could utilize at that institution. If you want to go to sporting events, like, do they have big sports teams? You know, like I would say, look at the academics, but also look at ways that you can have fun. Because honestly, like
the best 4 years of your life.
Yeah, it's really the best for you. Now you go. I don't know how, it was a beautiful struggle sometimes. You know, I don't know how we used to do the things that we used to do in college with what we used to have, but the best time. It was really a good time. And then, like you kind of mentioned about travel and stuff, like considering like how far it would be from family, like stuff like that. But you know, and definitely like go tour, visit, and kind of like feel yourself in the atmosphere. Like if you can really see yourself being there. Yeah. And if they have like, you know, USC had like summer seniors, so you could come like stay, I think it was for like a week or a weekend or something. So they have like programs like that where you can like really get a college experience for some time during the summer. I would totally recommend that.
Yeah, that's one of the most underrated things ever. Like I know there's programs or nonprofits that take kids to different colleges to get them, you know, acquainted to different campuses, because like you want to be on a campus that you're comfortable with. You know, I've heard stories about, you know, certain campuses where it may not be safe sometimes, you know, at night, because you know, most of the time they put a lot of schools they put, I would say in rural areas where it's like not too much going on. I'm not gonna say all of them, but I would say like the HBCUs, you see them a lot in like rural areas, kind of like in the hood almost. And so you got to be careful about, just where you're going to be as far as like surrounding. But taking those tours, like, Mila said, I think is one of those hidden gems that if you have the opportunity to go, like, please go, because you want to be able to view yourself on that campus. You want to be able to look around and and kind of pinpoint, oh, that look like that's going to be me, one day when I get in here, because then it just gives you you get more excited, once you touch campus. Now, school and all that, that's a different story. Like, sometimes the classes, and then you want to make sure, like, if you like to be in big classes or if you like to be in small classes, like, that's another thing. Like, I think I did well because my classes were small. I was able to create the relationship with the teacher and then be able to, ask questions. Like, it wasn't just a big room, because I know at USC, I probably wouldn't have made it as far as, one, just getting around the school, and then number two, the classes. Like, because they were so big. I mean, I just don't know how I would have done in the classroom setting. So that's another thing you got to think about. Did you have any mentorships or anybody, relationship with teachers along the way in your college, while you're going to college, that kind of benefited you, once getting out of college?
Honestly, not a whole lot.
Okay.
I had one. She was actually my advisor. She was probably like the only relationship that like helped me kind of get to where I wanted to go in physical therapy school, and kind of helped me make some of the strides that I made. I had one professor that taught me anatomy and physiology, and like I tried to like go to his office hours and like, build a relationship with him, especially because I had to take his class a couple times. But after I graduated, like that was
it was dead. That was probably pretty much it.
And like you mentioned, a lot of those classes are so big. Like, unless I really, really had a problem, I didn't talk to the professor at all.
And to me, I feel like that's how I would have struggled, because I'm asking questions off rip. And so, just because if I don't understand it, I need to, ask those questions. But some people learn differently. When you going from high school to college, was there a learning curve for you as far as how you study and how you prepare for certain classes?
Oh, yeah. High school, did I study at all? Probably not ever. Like, no. It just came so easy. Like, easy. I don't know. And then college, them first couple of classes, like, Psych 101, like the real basic classes. Yeah. So first semester, 4.0, you think you good. And then you get into them classes. Second semester, you're like, oh shit, like I actually got, let me open the book real quick. Let me actually buy the book real quick. Yeah. I actually need, actually my study habits changed a lot my second semester freshman year. As I was getting into more of those science classes, I was like, it's
tough. What changes did you make? Like, was, you know what I'm saying? Like, were you auditory, like a visual, auditorial, like, because these are some of the things that people need to start picking up on, early. Understanding how you learn, and understanding what's going to give you the best results when it comes down to learning material, and just learning in general. Like, it doesn't have to be just for school; it could be for anything. So, what type of learner are you, and what did you find out about yourself?
So I actually, USD had like, I want to say it was like the Career Center or there was some resource that I utilized and like took a questionnaire survey type thing. Mm-hmm. And basically I am a visual learner as well as like a kinesthetic learner. So I learned by like actually doing it. So for me, I had to start recording lectures and then like kind of listening to them, especially for some of those like harder science classes. And then like a lot of flashcards and like drawing stuff, like taking notes. And I was like, at first I took my laptop to class. Like I was trying to like do stuff, but I would get distracted on like Facebook or Twitter and like all the things. So I had to like cut that out and like get the paper and,
Get old
And
school
then
with it.
some brilliant person told me to maybe like start reviewing some stuff before you go to class. So then when you get to class, it's not so foreign. And then I wasn't always the best with that method, but I did try sometimes.
That seemed like it
So
made you that method seems like you had to pay attention to the syllabus.
yeah,
And I ain't never look at no syllabus. Let's just roll with the day. Come on, what we learning today, man?
right. So yeah, that took me a while to get the hang of it, but it really helped me when I was in PT school.
Okay.
Like reviewing things beforehand. So like when we did get to class, okay, so I can ask you this question and see if I'm understanding correctly, and then we can go from there. And it really did help me more so in PT school than in undergrad. But that was a good tip. That I can't remember who told me that, but it was good. Man, so if you want to take that with you,
yeah, you definitely want to take that. I mean, what motivates you though? Like, it seems like it seems like you motivated. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be motivated in a sense to be able to say, all right, I'm not doing well. I need to change a few of my habits. I need to do this to provide better results. You go to school for 7 years, you get out. You know what I'm saying? You spent a lot of time in school. Like, what keeps you motivated to say, I'm going to keep doing this or keep pursuing this? Is it like what? Because for me, like, I feel like if it was me, like, I'd be motivated off of, I want to get this money. It's ego driven as far as like, I want to let people know, like, yeah, I did that. You know what I'm saying? Like, what motivates you? Is it something? Is it those things? Because if it is, it's nothing wrong with that. I think a lot of people are driven for those exact specific reasons. I just, when you talk about being driven by money, at some point I guess you get burnt out. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't have a genuine passion to do it and get up, it becomes harder to get up every day to go do it. So like, what motivates you and keeps you going?
Honestly, like right now, what motivates me, I feel like, is my patience. So as I've gotten a little bit further in my career and I get those messages from my patients, like, yo, like, matter of fact, today, before we even started this call, a patient that I had back in Florida, his fiance texted me and she was like, hey, look at this video from his PT session today. And I worked with him over a year ago almost now. Wow. She was like, he's out of his wheelchair now. He's walking. Like, we miss you so much. Like, you helped us so much. Like, he talks about you every day and just how great of a therapist you were. And so things like that, not even the recognition, but to hear the progress that they made and to know that I've like impacted their life in a positive way, that just brings me so much like reward and joy. And to know that like, I am doing something positive and something good, so that motivates me. Now, it was a lot of school and there were many days I was like, I don't know if I can do this. And I think I'm pretty like hard on myself in general. So once I started something, I was like, yeah, like we got to see it through. So that kind of mentality, I think, motivated me just to like see it through, finish it. Like at the end of the day, like I kind of did want the title of doctor, even though I don't, you don't have to call me doctor, but
but it might be inside. It means something to you though. Like,
right.
Doctor, like that's just, it just sounds hard, like just to be called, to know that you got that doctor in front of your name. I think, that's, it's nothing better than, getting those success stories and feeling like they energy and they passion because you really truly helped them. Obviously, it sounded like the guy was in a wheelchair. And one thing I know about, whether it's being sick or hurt, we take our health for granted. You know what I'm saying? Like one day we walking, we doing everything we're supposed to do, and then next day maybe we get sick, maybe we hurt an ankle or a knee. Like it's something as simple as an ankle, like an ankle sprain, and you have to hobble around. Like that's aggravating, and you don't realize it until you start walking regular, and you think you could just do whatever the heck you want to on your ankle because you can. I think those, that's just the best feeling in the world is to get that reward or that gratification, because you put in a lot of hard work to even work with the patient. I know they give you attitude, a little bit of back talk, because you got to push them through certain exercises that, where they really got to push themselves. But then they get so happy when they see the results at the end. So it's like, there you go,
True story. Last week I had a patient. And it's crazy because a lot, like you said, like one day you're doing something, you're at work, you chilling with your kids, and then boom, you have a stroke and you're completely dependent on other people. And not only is it a blow to your independence, your ego, but just like your whole way of life.
Yeah.
And I was working with this young lady, and she was getting frustrated with me. Well, she wasn't getting frustrated with me. She was getting frustrated with herself because her body was not moving the way she wanted it to move.
Right.
And we're doing these exercises, and she starts crying. I use that as a moment to kind of encourage her and cheer her up a little bit. And then at the end, before she left, she brought cupcakes and a card, and she was crying again, but this time it was like, I really appreciate all that y'all done. Like, and it's a team effort. So, I definitely can't take all the credit, but it's just like to see them kind of go through their lowest moments and then come back up and see that on the other side of it, there is some victory. There is some happy moments, some highs. Like I just love hearing those kinds of reports and stories back from them. So
yeah, would you say you're a empathetic person? Like you can empathize with people easily? I feel like in that type of role, you have to be good at empathizing.
Absolutely.
Because
sometimes too much.
Too much.
So you have to like pull back and kind of like, okay, yeah, I have to leave this at the door, or I can't take this with me into my life.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I can see that happening. Like I'm a empathetic person. I give everybody the benefit of the doubt, and relationships is key. Like if I rock with you, like I'm loyal to the end. So like if I had a patient to come in and like I know your story, we working together, we grinding together, I'm helping you out. Like I want to see you genuinely do well, not only in PT but in life. Mm-hmm. So like you telling me all your issues, like at some point, like you said, you gotta cut that off. Like, listen, I'm here to help you get back on your feet. I'm not here to be your therapist, as far as like to get you through life. But that's what's up. I think I can see that you are excited about what you're doing. I see that you have a passion about what you're doing, and I think we need people like you in those particular places. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially dealing with a stroke. I got a cousin. His mom had a stroke, and it changed her whole entire life, like depending on her kids and things of that nature. And unfortunately, she passed away just because she was dealing with it for so long. But while she was going through it, I never seen her down. I always seen her encouraged and just being able to push through. So what I guess the transition now is, what does your day-to-day look like in your role? Like talk to me about a day in the life of what you do, starting from when you wake up to when you go into the office. What's the first things you're doing? Are you looking at charts? Are you just looking at your schedule as far as what patients come in? What does a day-to-day look like?
So day-to-day, I wake up and I eat. Well, I go work out first. I eat a little breakfast. I go to work, and I work in a hospital, an inpatient rehab hospital. And I actually get to work 4 10-hour shifts. So I start my day at 9 o'clock. I get there, I kind of review charts, make sure nothing crazy happened overnight, look at my schedule. And the way like my productivity at work works is I have to, out of my 10-hour day, I have to see patients for 7.5 of those hours. Okay. So once I get my schedule, I kind of like make a plan of like what I want to do for the day. Then I just start treating. I take a lunch break. I work on notes. I get back to treating. And then I treat, and I work until about 7:30 every night. And then at the end of the day, I'm doing more documentation. A lot of what I do, not only treating the patients, but what's the word? Justifying to insurance, that that they're paying for this person's stay and they're making progress or not, or, just got to play the insurance game sometimes. So we have to document our notes. And then I go home, and then I sometimes eat dinner. Sometimes I eat popcorn, just depending on how I'm feeling. Yeah. And then I go to sleep and wake up and do it all over again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we talk about charting.
Mm-hmm.
What y'all be charting? Like, I mean, what? Tell me. I mean, the doctor be writing stuff. I be like, what you writing, doc? You know what I'm saying? Like, what actually? Because you're dealing with. Are you documenting like what they're able to do each and every day? Are you documenting just the exercises they may do? Like, what do y'all document?
Yeah. So like for a patient I treated today, I documented, how they presented when I came into the room. Mm-hmm. And I documented what we did. So we worked on getting in and out of bed, working on transfers, like going from the bed to the chair.
Right.
How many times we did it. So kind of like the exercises, if you will. Now, I don't do like straight up exercises every day. A lot of some of the things that I do are more functional based. So like I said, helping people get in and out of bed, walking, standing, some of those things that we kind of take for granted in our everyday lives, but some people have to start from scratch kind of thing. And then I say like whether their blood pressure dropped, whether they, almost passed out, or did they tolerate it well? Did they require less assistance today versus yesterday? Yeah. Stuff like that. If I have to talk to their family and like train their families on how to care for them, we document stuff like that. I order lots of equipment. So like when you get ready to go home, like do you need a hospital bed? Do you need a wheelchair? Yeah. Walkers, like all that stuff.
So you do a lot. You do a lot just throughout the day, and just really, keeping up with the everyone's, care as they go. I just, for me, I get intrigued about what people actually do. You know what I'm saying? Because I've done physical therapy just on my knee. And then I know every time I come in, the physical therapist, they're gonna want me to do these reps, 3 sets of 10, but my thing is, how do y'all know this is, obviously I'm gonna trust y'all because y'all the professionals, but how do y'all know that I'm, getting better the correct way? How do you know that the exercises that I'm doing is the most beneficial, for me? You know what I mean? Like, I always have those questions. So when I hear you talk about, just documenting the charts, got to play the insurance game, it seems like a lot of what you do is not actually the physical part. It seems like most of the work comes from the documentation and maybe the insurance game. Would you say like
75, 25?
75, 25? Okay.
And then the way that we really track progress is like your outcome. So I'm sure they probably did like a couple of tests with you, whether it was like, did you get more range of motion, or were you able to do more sets without rest, or there's some kind of like outcome measure tied to it to track your progress over time. And then like, I think for like outpatient, like orthopedic type of setting, it's a little bit different. Like when we went for our knees, like they are able to kind of, some of those things,
it's quantifiable.
Like,
you can quantify the things that you're trying to do. I feel like with neurology, it's a little different when you're working with the mind and, teaching people how to walk again and stuff like that. I feel like that's a lot different.
It's a lot different because like for me and you, let's say both of us tore our ACL. The recovery for ACL is pretty much the same. Like your protocol is the same. But let's say you and I had, I don't want to put that in the atmosphere.
God forbid, yeah.
Yeah, so some like a brain injury or something, like you would be totally different probably than me in like how we present and like what our deficits would be. Like I've had some patients who have brain injuries who can't walk, can't talk, can't do anything. I've had some who have brain injuries just walking all over the place and just like, doing their own thing. And so it's kind of the severity to it. But a lot of those like orthopedic injuries, you were like, how do you know that you're actually making progress? And a lot of it is like I said, a protocol. So you just kind of like follow it out and,
because usually, it's so common.
It's so common. People will be better.
Got it. And I okay. I want to play a little. I want to do a little scenario. I
Okay.
know we almost at the end, so I'm gonna do a little scenario. Let's just say I did come in. Brain injury, can't walk, can't talk. Uh, well, I'm gonna say can't walk. I guess talking is one of the. Is it a lot of you deal with people that can't talk sometimes?
Mhm.
Okay, so can't walk, can't talk. Um, and just you trying to rebirth me back to just being a basic functioning human being. What's the first step that you would do? Like, what would you try to fix first? What questions would you ask? Maybe like a caretaker, or how would we start the process of me being able to walk again and even talk, possibly?
Um, so it would kind of start with like where in the brain the injury was,
Okay.
and then looking at just your functional impairment. So, are you able to even sit up by yourself? Like, can you hold your balance sitting up?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have movement in your legs? Like, is there strength there? Do you have the strength to kind of like hold yourself up when we stand up?
Yeah.
And then supported or not supported, can you automatically take some steps? Because walking is an automatic task. You don't really have to think about it. And sometimes, just depending on the injury, like some people can just automatically get back into it, like a baby, like if you like a reflex type thing. But some people it takes a little bit of time. So it would kind of just depend on what we get when we see you the first time, like at your evaluation. But for me, the biggest thing would be like, can you sit up? Can you just I don't have a chair back on this chair that I'm sitting in right now. But like I'm holding myself up. So could you do this? Or are you like
leaning over?
Not to make light of the situation, but
Right.
like stuff like that is kind of like where I start. You got to crawl before you walk type stuff. So it's like baby steps back towards some of those developmental milestones, if you will, that we go through as, a kid.
Yeah.
So
I think that's super dope, man. I really do. Like, that's why I'm asking these questions, because I'm intrigued about how people, do their job. Because I know it's more detailed than what, the description may say. You know what I'm saying? Like, all we see is a title, but, within the job is very, detailed. You have to follow certain protocols. You have to do certain things. But I also, love to see the it factor behind what people do, like the science behind it. So like if I come in with a problem, how does your brain work to fix the problem? You know what I'm saying? Like, what process do you take in your mind, or what questions do you ask? Like, okay, are they doing this? Is he doing that? And then knowing what the issues are, and then building a plan to make everything a lot better. So I really enjoyed hearing do the little scenario with me. Hopefully I'll never have to see you in my life, but if that happens, I'm coming straight to you, because I'm like, look,
hey,
I can't hold.
I take good care of you, but yes, we don't want that.
Yeah, we don't want that at all. So cool. I like that. And then lastly, always transparency. What's something that you don't like about, what's something that you would fix about your job? You know what I'm saying? Like, because a lot of times when we talk about these different careers, like, we can hype them up, make them sound real cool, but you really got to be a certain individual to be, to do what you do. Like, if you're not organized, you're not good at taking notes, I feel like maybe that might not be a role for you, because it seems like you have to be, organized. You have to be able to take notes. You have to, be empathetic. If you're not an empathetic person, or if you don't like people and all, like, just don't deal with people. Like, why be a doctor just because of the money? But you have to, have certain characteristics. So what is something that you may not like about your job?
I have two answers.
Okay.
One would be just the nature of the setting that I'm in the hospital. We don't get a lot of break times. So in the office today, some of my coworkers are just like, I don't think I used the bathroom today. We don't work 8 hours and you don't think you've used the bathroom? Like, I don't drink a lot of water throughout the day, just because like I'm ripping and running between patients. So I don't like that there's not a lot of time for self-care. just staying hydrated is
Yeah.
a very underrated thing at work sometimes. And then, you know, it's not always about the money, not especially in some of these like public service types of jobs. However, I feel like if we go to school for as long as we go to school and we pay or get into debt for as much as we do, there should be comparable compensation for that investment. And that would probably be like my biggest con or dislike of my role currently, or in general. I don't know what kind of research I did in high school. I don't know what kind of physical therapist I thought was making the big banks.
Yeah.
I've not reached that point in my career yet, but hopefully, prayerfully, you know, we'll get there. But like I said, I really do love working with my patients. So at the end of the day, it's not all about the money, but having enough money is nice.
Yeah, it is.
Would be nice.
I talked to my mom. My mom's a nurse. She's an RN. And she works like a dog. Like she'll call me sometimes, and they still calling her like, cause she need to see what's going on with a patient or doing. I'm like, Mom, when you got time to like sit down? And she's like, I don't. You know, like kind of similar to your situation. And I just feel like that's for the people that's really taking care of other people, you know, for frontline employees. I feel like there should be a better system in place to get you guys some type of, you know, rest throughout the day. At least be able to let you guys drink some water, stay hydrated. And I think the pandemic has heightened that issue because even before the pandemic, it was still like that. But now after the pandemic, where you guys may not have a lot of workers that's willing to come to work,
Right.
or the protocols are just different now dealing with patients because, you know, now you're contacting people, but you never know if they have COVID or not. So it's just a whole lot of variables that happen. So I definitely hope that one day y'all get compensated the correct way that you guys deserve. You guys and teachers, like frontline employees and teachers,
definitely the teachers.
like y'all, they need compensation, like a big boost because you know, you dealing with people's kids every single day. They ain't even yours. But you dealing with their issues, things they bring from home, stuff like that. So I think the conversation is there. But Mila, it's been fun.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
No problem. I had a great conversation. I learned a lot about what you do. I feel like I'm better. You know, if I was to able just, you know, if I just see you around, I could just be like, you know, how's everything going? Like, and then I can be able to get into more of a detailed conversation. Cause I know when you try to talk to people about what you do and they don't understand what you do, it's like, you wouldn't get it. So let me just keep it at surface level. So I love to, you know, really dive in, but I do want to leave and we're going to play this small little game. So we got 5 questions. You got 5 seconds to answer each question and then we're done. I just need, after that, I just need a recommendation of who I should get on the podcast next. And then just help me, whoever you recommend, you just got to help me get them on the show. Meaning, however they like to be contacted, whether it's Instagram, phone number, let me know. If you can send me the information, I'll reach out to them. But you let them know, hey, this is my boy. He good people, legit. If you want to do it, say yes. If not, no big deal.
Okay.
All right. So number 1, favorite TV show to binge watch.
Criminal Minds.
Ooh, okay, Criminal Minds. If you could time travel, what period would you go back to?
The 90s. Like as a teenager.
As a teenager?
Yeah, like I want to be a teenager in the 90s.
Got you. I heard people say being an adult in the 90s. So I heard adult and then teenagers is good too. So it just depends on what you all about, what you trying to do in the 90s. Okay, what's more memorable, movies or music?
Movies.
Movies. Let's go, bro. People always say music. I'm a movie guy myself. Like,
I'm a movie guy or girl. Music, like you can ask me, I can tell you half the artist or the year or the song name, but I don't know. But movies, I got you.
I'm telling you. What's something / activity that you can do every day besides sleep?
Workout.
Okay. Yeah, you be hitting the gym hard, man. You be hitting the gym. So there's 25 hours in a day. How do you spend the extra hour?
Dang, probably sleeping.
Sleeping. I'm gonna spend that extra hour sleep. Okay, then last one. What's the quality people enjoy about you?
Um, I don't know, maybe my kindness, I think.
Super kind. Super kind. Very, funny. You know,
Yeah.
you funny. You funny. It's on a low tip though. It's not like high key. It's low tip. It's just funny.
Hey.
But I can see that though. Kind is definitely one of them. Just due to our little bit of interactions, definitely can see the kindness and just the love that you pour into people or you give to people that's in your tribe or in your circle. Like it's super super good to see. But now it's time for the recommendation, and then we out of here.
Yes, I was thinking about this, and I think you should get my boy Webb.
Okay.
Um, you know Webb?
Nope.
Okay, so my LS Shay, her fiance, he's got a clothing line. He's doing some things in entrepreneurship. Pretty dope guy. I think y'all could have a good combo. He's also from South Carolina, so
Okay.
I'll keep it in the state.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So you just gotta send me his Instagram or his telephone number, whichever one
Okay.
he likes to be reached out with. What's funny is that I actually sit down with Shay, probably like I think next week. I think she's on the calendar.
Oh, okay.
So that'll be dope. So I sit down with her, and then I can do well. That'll be hard right there. So
Yeah.
let me know.
Power couple.
Yeah, power couple. Let me know. But
I will.
have a good one. If you need
Thank you.
anything, let us know. You know what I'm saying? Like any way we can help. Just whatever you got going on. I don't know if you got any side ventures popping off, anything like that, side businesses or whatever that you might have in your back of your mind or something that you getting ready to present. If you do, just let us know. However we can help. Whether it's coming on here, promoting it. Letting us know what you got going on. You always got a spot on the platform. In whatever way we can help and get it popping, we about that.
I appreciate it. And same for you. If you ever need anything, just holler. And I appreciate you having me on today.
All right.
It was fun.
Yeah, I'll talk to you. We're gonna have to link up on another spades game.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
To take this L.
Okay.
See ya.
All right, man. Well, you have a good night.
All right, you too.